So guys, I hope you have watched the introduction video. So today's topic is all going to be about on the types of forestry, specifically social forestry. Okay, so guys, let's get started. So it's been like 60 years we have gained independence, and the only thing that we have achieved so far is eradication of, that is destruction of almost all the forest, and destruction of many trees that were sidelining the important roads, and all these lands were converted into plots and real estates. Okay, so that is how India is usually becoming, and like this practices has made many people homeless, and also in a way indirectly has made them jobless. I'm talking about the farmers and talking about the rural people. So the governments has been coming and going, so it's been like a game of thrones. So like all their ideologies and all their propaganda has been similar, that is to build a green and prosperous India. But so far like none have achieved it so far. Like some tried it actually, but very few actually like tried to implement the projects that were put up in the paper. Okay, so suppose in a rare case if government wants to make all the villages and all the roads greenery again, they will try to implement a scheme called as social forestry. If the government wants to improve the conditions of certain people, especially the poor and the marginal farmers, as well as many communities that were like living in and around the urban areas, they can do some certain projects mainly with regarding to plantation. That is like all these peoples are like they don't have any basic knowledge over how to run machines or how to write. So the literacy rate is very poor. All they know is something that is related to farming and allied activities. So like what is the solution? So how can the government can improve the conditions of these people? So like you can't build industry there and ask them to work there, because they lack like efficient training, and also we don't have the man force or skill force to train them. Okay, so it will take a hell out of all the government staffs and also the officials, because it will take a much longer time. So in order to mitigate the impact on these lives of the people, government has implemented the schemes of social forestry. So definitely government can't give any industries or any like software technology IT parks, but they can surely build up huge trees. Okay, so by this plantation drive, that is by this scheme called social forestry, like many people can able to like simply plant the trees, and they can reap the rewards out of planting the trees. Okay, such as if you like able to build like 100 trees, that is you can able to plant 100 trees, like the timber wood and also the fuel and almost all the products that is coming out of the forest are beneficial to these people. So the only way to improve the condition of the people is through the social forestry. Okay, so I'm not telling the only way, but it is also one of the ways. So like if you like able to give some certain jobs with regarding to social forestry, then it will improve the conditions of the people drastically. So like almost like all the Manrega works that has been carried out in India is based upon the sidelined activities in and around social forestry. So this is how it will improve the condition of the people. So this social forestry has been like defined in almost like 100 years before, and the genesis of the social forestry actually began in 1976. Like it was put up by the National Commission on Agriculture of the government of India, and it was mainly implemented to take the pressure off the forest and to make use of all the lands that were like lying barren and uncultivated. So initially like the social forestry was taken up by the government. Okay, so like there were like a lot of plantation of trees happening in and along around the railway lines, roads, and also like rivers and canal banks. So this is how the social forestry has been like originated. Like, so guys, in terms of exam perspective, like social forestry and agroforestry are like very very crucial important things. They have been like almost asked like 5 to 6 times. If you go through the past year question papers, you understand how important this social forestry is actually. Okay, and you can also include these kinds of points in your essays if you are able to remember these things and all. And guys, there's been a complaint on me that I am reading just the slides alone, and I'm not helping them to understand. So like there's a difference between actually like an educator and a teacher. Okay, so like a teacher is one who makes them understand, an educator is one who guides actually like how to read and how to make them. Okay, like I don't know which category do I belong, but the main intention is to so give some points so that they can write well in their mains exam preparation. Yes, I do understand that, because a lot of my videos are theoretical, and I can't help with that, because what you need in your answer writing is you need some points. Okay, so whatever you understand you need to put up in words. So that is why I give a lot of theoretical stuff, and mainly this is for the people who are like preparing for their agriculture UPSC optional. So the target audience is very less, and I want people to remember the points and they want to reproduce it in their exam. So that is the ultimate motive here. So guys, don't worry, I'll try to make up some interactive and interesting videos in the upcoming days. So in the meanwhile, let's continue with social forestry. So what social forestry actually is? So it is nothing but it is a method where plantations, that is where you raise plants, and who are the ones who raise the plants? So it is the common man. So it is the common man who raise the plants to meet his growing demand for timber, fuelwood, fodder, etc. So he actually creates a forest for himself. So for every time he don't need to rush to the forest for all his basic needs. So he can build the trees around his home, and he can get all the required things from around its home itself. So that is how the basic principle of social forestry actually lies. So it was mainly a concept of village forest to meet the demands of the rural people. So it is very obvious with that. Okay, so get the concept clear. And what is the need actually? So why do you want to emphasize more on social forestry? Because you know that many people that are living in villages depend upon their fuel hoard and the biomass for the cooking and heating. Okay, so this practices is very harmful, because it is causing a lot of respiratory problems, and also like it is impacting a huge amount on the forest also. So that is why social forestry is the most needed one right now. And whatever the scheme the government implements, there has to some people who have to overlook it. Okay, that is, who have to guide it and who have to manage it properly. And in this case, social forestry programs is being implemented by government, but it is managed by village panchayat, that is village council. So all the onus lies on them, that is the village panchayat people. So initially it was like for the first 5 years government was taking care of it, and later it was like shifted to like the village panchayat. So this is a crucial point, you can add it in your answers. And social forestry schemes, they have been categorized into two groups. So the first groups includes farm forestry, community forestry, and extension forestry. And the second group mainly it's nothing but it's an agroforestry. Okay, so we'll see what is each forestry actually is, because each one of them is being asked in your exams. Okay, if you go through your question papers, you understand how important the topic is. So guys, the first thing is farm forestry. So farm forestry is nothing but the word itself give you the meaning. Okay, so you're gonna build a forest around your farm. Okay, so instead of going to the forest for your basic needs, you gonna build a forest around your house. So like there is like two kinds of farm forestry is almost there, that is commercial and non-commercial. Commercial, that is if you build your forest for making money, it is called commercial. And non-commercial is mainly to provide shade for your agriculture crops, or used as in wind shelters, or even for a conservation of soil, and or also to use for your wasteland. So this is how farm forestry actually works. So this is the principle behind this. The main emphasis is not to deplete the sources of the forest. Instead, you develop a forest on your own around your farmhouse. So this is what farm forestry actually is. And the next forestry is community forestry. So as I said earlier before, like farm forestry is mainly like done by individual people or individual farmers, whereas this is completely contrast to that, because the forestry is going to help for a whole community. Okay, so here a group of people is going to get benefited from the forest that has been created. Okay, so initially the government had the responsibility of providing seedlings, fertilizers, but the community has to take the responsibility. In the recent times, in many states, community forestry is coming up in a brisk pace. So like for example, there's been like huge large scale plantation of eucalyptus for almost like 20 years, and these plants are providing a lot of timber and a lot of source of livelihood and sustenance of life to many people. Okay, so like while writing your answer, just keep remembering these examples and all, because they will provide you extra marks definitely. And the next forestry is extension forestry. So like sometimes you tend to forget what this actually means. So extension is you are extending the boundaries of the forest into the roads. Okay, so just remember like this. So like planting of trees on the sides of the roads or canals and railways, or along with any other wastelands, is known as extension forestry. That is, ultimately you are increasing the boundaries of the forest by artificially building these things. Okay, so this is what extension forestry is all about. And guys, that puts into today's topic. I hope you really learned something about this. And like, since forestry is main important topic that has been like asked in various GS3 paper, as well as in like lot of questions that have been surfaced on agriculture mains optional. Okay, so just recall all the important stuffs, because these are the ones that is going to be asked in your exams. So I'll see you in the next lecture. So in the meantime, if you really like the video, just give a thumbs up button and do subscribe if you haven't. Thank you guys.